Applying the concrete stain.
Camouflage your concrete. Yeah.
Applying concrete stain is relatively simple. Really, you just spray it on or brush it on, and you allow it to dry and react the proper amount of time, and then you neutralize the stain and wash it off. The way that you would apply it is you would use an all-plastic pump-up sprayer. It's important that your sprayer be all plastic and not have any metal parts, as the acid will just eat right through the metal. If you decide to use a brush, then you can use a brush with a bucket, but if you do use a brush, be very careful because drips and splashes can occur very easily. Acid stain is liquid like water, so you really have to be careful. If you're going to spray it, then you just put it in the pump-up sprayer and you just spray it on. You'll hold your nozzle about a foot or so up from the concrete, and you will spray on enough to saturate the concrete well, but not so much that it would puddle or it would run if it were on an incline. If you're going to brush it, then you'll put your brush in the stain, shake off the excess, set your brush down, and brush it in a circular motion. If you're going to do a multicolor or have a pattern, then you will set the stain down away from the edge and brush in a circular motion up to the edge, so that once your brush reaches the edge, it is not still saturated with stain, so it doesn't easily run out, but rather you're dragging the stain to the edge. Another thing that you can do is a combination of spraying and brushing. You can spray it on and then follow behind with a brush in a circular motion to even it out and take out any puddles and make sure that it gets up along the edges real good and underneath baseboards and that sort of thing. If you do that, then bear in mind you are not scrubbing the stain. You're only moving it around, and only just moving it around once, and get on with it. If you over scrub it, then you will definitely get brush marks. Some colors will show brush marks much easier than other colors will. So if you use a brush, that's why you do it in a circular motion. Any brush marks in a circular motion will look like texture in the concrete, but backwards and forth brush marks will look definitely like brush marks. That's why typically I recommend spraying it. If you're going to do more than one coat, like if you're using a standard grade stain, or if you're just choosing to do more than one coat, then you could spray and brush the first coat and then just spray only the second coat, and that would help hide any potential brush marks as well. When you do more than one coat, there's no need to remove the residue between coats. Just be sure the first coat is completely dry, and then go out and apply the second coat. Regardless of how you apply the stain, you need to be sure that you work from wet edge to wet edge. Don't let the stain dry on you. That's why it's important to do your staining early in the day, in the cool part of the day, before it's had a chance to get very warm. Especially important in the summertime, and especially if you're working outside. Concrete stain will dry as fast or faster than water will, and it's very important that you work from wet edge to wet edge. If it dries before you get back to it, then the little edge where you overlap will actually be a second coat, and you could create lines that you would rather not have. As I just mentioned, the stain will dry as fast or faster than water. However, that doesn't mean that your reaction time is over. It is recommended by most manufacturers that you allow the stain to react with the concrete for at least a few hours, and up to 24 hours. Typically, the quicker that you neutralize the stain and wash it off, the lighter version of the color you're going to get, and the longer you let it sit there and react, the darker of a color you're going to get. So if you're looking for a lighter version of whatever color you're using, you could wash it quickly within just a couple, 3 hours, 4 hours at the most. And if you're wanting a darker version, well, you need to let it sit there and react overnight or for 24 hours. Another way to get a lighter color is, of course, to dilute the stain with water. That is very acceptable. And another way to get a darker color is to do more than one coat. If you have step facing, or if you're doing a wall, then you definitely are going to want to have a brush handy. You want to brush out any runs as they occur. So bear in mind, if you're doing a porch that has steps, or if you're doing a wall, to have a brush handy to brush out those runs as you go. Remember to do a test in an out-of-the-way area like a closet or a pool equipment pad or such before you do the entire job, so that you can be sure that you like the color and that it's reacting properly with the concrete. And remember to maintain a clean entry and exit point. Maintain adequate ventilation and keep a safe working environment for the project. And that concludes applying the stain section.
Camouflage your concrete. Yeah.